Welcome back to Andersen Acres. We are in the kitchen again today because we are going to make a frosting for our cake. This is a buttercream frosting, but it's actually a browned buttercream. So this has a richer flavor than your standard buttercream. It is almost caramel-like, and in fact, if you brown the butter a little more than I'm going to do it in the video, it will develop an even richer flavor. So give this one a try. If you really don't like browned butter, I will provide a link to the original buttercream frosting recipe that I use when I don't want to do browned butter. So let's get started. First, you're going to want a medium-sized saucepan or a small saucepan. Either one is fine. The only ingredient that's going in here is the butter. So as long as your 2/3 of a cup of butter fit, your saucepan is fine. So we're going to turn this on to medium heat. Have the butter already in your pan. Okay, so my butter's already in my pan. Have that already in your pot, ready to go, and you're going to just let that melt. I'm going to speed up the video because what we want is to lightly brown our butter, and you don't need to watch every single second of that. That's very boring. So I'm going to speed this up, and then I'll tell you roughly how long it took to go from butter sitting in the pan to browned butter. So enjoy this very sped up video. And there it goes. It's starting to turn a golden brown. So you can let it brown a little more if you like, but don't burn it. So at this point, I'm going to pull it off the heat, like that, turn my element off, and give this a whip. See that golden brown color? That'll have a very caramel flavor. So what we're going to do is, now that it's off the heat, we're going to let it sit for 10 to 15 minutes to cool down. Now it took about 10 minutes to go from the butter is a chunk in the pan to this golden color. And you'll see it happen really, really fast. So for a while, the butter is melting. Then you'll hear the butter sizzling. And after it stops sizzling, it goes from sizzling to caramel color to burned really fast. So you want to have a whisk, and you want to be stirring it pretty constantly when it's on the heat. I didn't stir it every single second, but pretty constantly, because you don't want it to burn. Like, this is a nice goldeny color. That's what you want, nice goldeny color. You do not want it burned. So let's let that sit for 10 or 15 minutes to cool down. Then we'll come back and finish the frosting. All right, so it has been about 15 minutes and our butter has cooled down sufficiently. So it still has this pretty golden color that you'll see in a sec a little bit better as soon as I dump it in. So what you want to do is get out your mixer. I'm using a Bosch compact kitchen machine. I really do recommend these for icings. They do such a fantastic job, especially with their whisk attachment. So I'll put a link to that. They're a little expensive, but if you do a lot of baking, they're worth the investment. So I'll put a link to that in the video description. So we're going to take our browned butter and just pour it in there. Use your rubber spatula to get the syrupy bits out, because that really has a lot of flavor. Okay, you don't need your pot anymore, so you can get rid of that. Okay. That was me dropping stuff. So to that, you want to add about 4 cups of icing sugar. Just dump it in there. There's no real ceremony here. Just poof, there. It's in. Good job. A little more in the bowl. There we go. No big deal. Easy to do. So now we're going to lower this down. Get rid of that. Lower this down into the bowl. And we're going to turn this on and just combine this. looks about like that, you're ready for the rest of the ingredients. So you're going to add about a teaspoon of vanilla. If you don't like vanilla, you can do almond, you can do maple, orange, lemon, any extract you have. I will warn you about almond. Reduce the amount by about half, just because almond is very, very strong. Now we're going to put in some milk, 2 to 4 tablespoons. Don't overdo it. You can always add more. There we go. And now we're going to turn it back on and mix this up. Now we're just going to lift this up, and we're going to use our rubber spatula just to get everything off the sides and make sure you have the icing sugar off the bottom. And then we're going to, I'm probably going to add just a wee bit more milk, and then we're going to whip that up really, really well. All right, so pop that back down. I'm going to add just a smidge more milk, just a smidge. A little milk goes a very long way in frostings, so careful. Let's turn this back on. All right, so that is our very delicious and excellent browned butter buttercream. Look at how nice and delicious that is. That's perfect. Very nice caramel flavor. So that is it. That very simple. You've now made browned butter buttercream. It's delicious on almost every cake. White cakes, chocolate cakes, yellow cakes. Doesn't matter. If you like this icing, it'll go with pretty much everything. So hopefully you will try this at home. It's so simple. You just need to take a little bit of time to brown up that butter before you make your icing. If you're worried about this being a little bit too loose because of the warm butter, pop it in the fridge for 10 minutes before you use it. Other than that, enjoy, because this is an excellent frosting. That's it for us at Andersen Acres. We'll see you tomorrow.